The stage is set and the tension is palpable in a packed Washington, D.C. briefing room. Tonight, a routine press conference quickly turns into a battleground for truth as Karoline Leavitt faces a relentless reporter who refuses to let go of the same provocative question. Before we get into every gripping detail, please subscribe, hit that like button, and comment below with a moment when you stood up for what you believed in. Let's dive into this unforgettable showdown. Under brilliant studio lights, the modern briefing room hums with anticipation. Rows of cameras line the back wall, each lens focused on the podium where Karoline Leavitt stands, poised, composed, and unflinching. Today's press conference in Washington, D.C. is more than a routine update on policy. It's a moment charged with unspoken tension. Journalists, eager for their shot at a headline, are poised to pounce. Karoline, known for her unwavering resolve, has already fielded a series of standard questions about economic reforms and administrative policies. Her responses are clear, articulate, and practiced, but as the session progresses, one reporter, a liberal journalist with a reputation for aggressive, repetitive questioning, steps forward, determined to force Karoline into an uncomfortable corner. With a steely gaze and a confident smirk, the reporter's voice cuts sharply through the room. "Ms. Leavitt, let's get to the heart of the matter. Are you saying that the administration's policies deliberately suppress marginalized communities?" A ripple of murmurs spreads among the journalists and audience. Karoline holds up her hand calmly. "I've addressed that topic already. Our policies are designed to benefit all Americans, regardless of background. If you have a new question related to today's agenda, I'm happy to address it." But the reporter isn't satisfied. Leaning forward, her tone becomes insistent. "You didn't really answer. Give us a clear yes or no. Are these policies suppressing certain groups?" The atmosphere grows charged. Every camera zooms in on Karoline's face, capturing the slight tension as she meets the reporter's eyes. A heavy silence blankets the room. Karoline takes a measured breath before replying, "I remain focused on discussing our policies and their benefits for everyone. I'm here to provide real answers, not to engage in endless repetition." The reporter's voice rises again, louder and more insistent. "Why is it so difficult for you to provide a straightforward answer? It's not just a matter of semantics, it's about accountability." At that moment, the energy in the room shifts noticeably. Journalists exchange uneasy glances, some scribble furiously in their notepads, while others lean in as if to catch every word. Karoline's eyes narrow ever so slightly as she signals to the security team with a subtle glance, a silent indication that she's had enough of the endless barrage. Her voice, firm and unyielding, cuts through the mounting tension. "I have answered your question multiple times. I am here to discuss policies and leadership, not to entertain repetitive theatrics. If you have another matter to raise, please do so. Otherwise, we will move on." A hush falls. The aggressive reporter, unrelenting, challenges, "So are you refusing to answer because you can't or because you won't play your little game?" Karoline's posture remains steady as she replies clearly, "I refuse to engage in a game designed solely for sensationalism. My duty is to inform, not to fuel controversy for clicks and headlines. If you're finding this exchange as compelling as we are, please hit the like button and share your thoughts in the comments below." Have you ever witnessed a moment when someone refused to be baited into meaningless repetition? And if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel for more stories that challenge the norm and celebrate truth in action. The tension escalates further as the reporter persists, now raising her voice to emphasize her point. "It seems you're dismissing valid concerns as theatrics. The American people deserve transparency and straightforward answers." At this, the room's energy tightens. Every eye is fixed on Karoline. For a moment, the air feels charged, as if waiting for a critical spark. Karoline's expression hardens, and her grip on the podium tightens imperceptibly. This press conference is not about manufacturing a spectacle. It is about addressing real issues with clarity and integrity, she states. "If your questions are not in line with the agenda of honest discussion, then I must ask you to refrain." The reporter's smirk falters. Her challenge now seems increasingly hollow in the face of Karoline's resolute response. Murmurs ripple through the audience, some nodding in agreement, others visibly shaken by the sudden shift from confrontation to accountability. Sensing that the confrontation has reached its peak, Karoline makes a decisive gesture. She leans slightly to one side and, without raising her voice, delivers a final, piercing remark. "I have no interest in playing games. If you persist in using this platform for personal theatrics, then you undermine the very principle of a free and responsible press. In that instant, the room falls into a heavy silence. Security personnel at the side of the room exchange brief looks with Karoline. The reporter, realizing her moment of control is slipping away, finally lowers her pen. A few cameras capture the subtle exchange, the determined set of Karoline's jaw, the flicker of resignation on the reporter's face. "Let us proceed with questions that add substance to today's discussion," Karoline continues calmly. "The time for repetition is over." The aggressive reporter, now isolated amid a sea of questioning glances, mumbles a half-hearted retort before gathering her things and quietly leaving the room. The tension begins to dissipate, replaced by a reflective quiet that hangs over the briefing room like a promise. As the press conference resumes, Karoline fielding other questions with her usual poise, the energy in the room has fundamentally shifted. Journalists who had once been eager for a sensational moment now watch with a mix of admiration and contemplation. Cameras continue to roll, capturing every nuanced expression, a slight nod, a determined smile, even the soft murmur of applause from a few witnesses. Outside the briefing room, news outlets are already abuzz. Social media lights up with headlines such as "Karoline Leavitt shuts down bad faith press tactics" and "When accountability trumps outrage." Within minutes, the entire exchange becomes a hot topic, sparking debate on free speech, journalistic responsibility, and the true meaning of transparency. Back inside, Karoline steps away from the podium as her phone begins to buzz with supportive messages, comments praising her for taking a stand against sensationalism, emails from viewers who felt empowered by her refusal to play along with divisive tactics. A veteran journalist in the audience quietly remarks, "This is what real journalism should be, focused on truth, not on creating drama." Later in the quiet of her office, Karoline reflects on the events of the day. The confrontation wasn't just a personal victory, it was a powerful reminder that the press has a duty to inform, not incite. She reviews the unedited footage of the exchange, knowing that while the narrative might be spun in many ways online, the truth is evident in every measured word she spoke. Her final statement, now live across multiple platforms, reads, "Today, I stood my ground not to silence dissent, but to insist that our discussions remain rooted in genuine accountability and respectful dialogue. We must all strive for transparency that uplifts rather than divides." The statement quickly circulates, prompting thoughtful discussion among commentators, experts, and everyday citizens alike. While some critics continue to rehash the incident, many others appreciate the clarity and integrity with which Karoline handled the confrontation. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever witnessed or experienced a moment when standing firm changed the course of a conversation? Share your story in the comments below. Your voice matters. If you found this story as compelling and thought-provoking as we did, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth discussions and honest conversations about today's critical issues. And don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss an update. Remember, true strength isn't measured by how loudly we shout, but by the integrity with which we speak our truth. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stand firm, speak honestly, and let the truth shine through.